welcome. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeannie Bose. I'm the president of Cal Flowers, and we're super excited to have Erica Benson join us today. She's a master's in marketing. She's a San Diego native. She found a niche that has become her passion, and that's definitely visual arts and photography. And she's coming to share her talents with all of us today. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. I'm excited for this. Oh, okay, here we go. A little background, just in case you need it. I am a San Diego native, as was mentioned. Born and raised here. Like any creative growing up in the 90s, my mom encouraged me to get a real job and not a creative job. So I compromised and I went into marketing, which is probably the only field I could get into at the time that could be a little bit creative. Marketing job was great, loved it, but I got thrown into one of those catch-all marketing jobs. So it was supposed to be like, okay, you're just doing social media management. Ended up being social media management, marketing, advertising, copywriting, web design, and photography, which I was like, I know nothing about photos, but here we go. So I took an entry-level class into photography just to figure out lighting from a few old fashion gurus in LA. And it was probably one of the best classes that I ever took because it taught me everything that I need to know about lighting, which transformed all of my photos for all of the advertising material that I needed for my social media marketing campaigns. And those photos turned into headshots, headshots turned into family sessions turned into weddings, and next thing you know, I'm quitting my full-time marketing job to become a full-time photographer and wedding photographer. That was 13 years ago, so I have not looked back since. So needless to say, I know a thing or two about lighting and photography, and I'm here to teach that to you all today. So thank you for coming. So the agenda. We are going to talk about establishing your visual vibe, the romance between light and color, a live photo demo, which I will show you over here, and it will show up on the screen as well. Content marketing and equipment recommendations from a professional. You do not need a professional equipment, but I will tell you some tips and tricks and other recommendations. So, getting into it, establishing your visual vibe. So I've kind of came up with this concept of a visual vibe for brands and personal brands and marketing campaigns because it's not just about the aesthetic, even though most people think it is. It is about your personality. It's about your experience. It's about how you communicate to the world is what attracts your clientele to want to come to you. It does translate visually, but you got to start at home, essentially. I do think this is like the most overlooked part of any business. Everyone wants to jump straight into content and marketing without having the full foundation of what they're doing visually or why you're doing this in the first place. Oop, I lost my notes. And everyone's trying to copy and paste for trends and everything else, but it's like, you can't actually predict trends and you can't bank on trends. So you have to put in a good amount of back-end work of what you want to put out into the world. Let's get into some elements. So the elements of a visual vibe. Color and texture, obviously the first thing everyone thinks of. There are certain brands that you know their work before you even see that their name is attached to it. I think of brands like Target. You see a red dot anywhere, you know it's Target. Walmart is that blue and yellow. Any other brands, but you know exactly based on their color. Now, as florists and wholesalers and retailers, this could be a texture thing for you too. Maybe your thing is soft petals. Maybe you love branch work. Maybe you love more ikebana or whatever it is. Your color scheme and your texture should be your signature brand, but it's not the entirety of what your visual vibe actually is. A big part of establishing your vibe is also education, and I don't think people realize this. People don't know what you know, so never feel afraid to educate your clientele as well. That could be your experiences or how you got into this industry in the first place. That can be tips and tricks of what you know. It could be as small as, how to hold a bouquet. As a wedding photographer, I had to teach so many clients how to properly hold their bouquet because they had no idea. And florists are running around all day, they don't have the time or the in and out, or they told them, but bride brain, they're no longer there. So this is the type of things you can create in content as well to make sure that your client knows what you're about, what you know, and help gauge a lot of engagement along the way. it is also about storytelling. I think this is where a lot of people get hung up, thinking that you have to speak to your audience a certain way. Speak to your audience however you speak. I'm a lot more casual. Some people are a lot more professional. Some people are romantic in their storytelling. I am not a copywriter. I'm not an editor of any type. I am a visual person. So a lot of the things that I do are going to translate visually. But for you, maybe that is audio. Maybe that is telling a story of, how these flowers make you feel, how you came up with this concept, how you got to this point. But there are different variations of education for your clients. Relatability. Obviously, you want people to like you, but you don't have to have people like you. Repel the people that don't, attract the people that do. This is why I'm saying it's completely key for you to do the deep work of what you, as a person first, not as a business, what you as a person first want to put out into the world. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to pursue this? Because if you don't answer that first, everything else, for lack of a better word, goes to shit. Agreed. So we're gonna do a quick little exercise. I want you to give me 3 words. So you're gonna verbalize the emotive. List 3 emotions that you hope that people feel or perceive when they look at your work, when they reach your accounts, when they interact with your business. And that could be anything. If you want them to feel peaceful, joyful, blessed, write down a few words, because so you can hold on to that for later, because I don't think a lot of people are just taking the time to think about that first. 3 emotions. And you're going to save these for later because I will show you how to translate that visually in our live demonstration in a little bit. And as I mentioned earlier, the visual vibe is an entire deep work. This is not a we do it in an hour type thing. It's a course workbook that I have not launched to the public yet. It's been my baby secret for about a year now. But if you want to join the wait list for it, I will launch it to you guys. You'll get a discount code for it if you want it. It's gonna take you about a month. I'm telling you now, I'm setting you up. It's gonna take a month. You're probably gonna need to call your therapist. There's a lot involved. There's a lot involved, but it is definitely the deep dive that you need if you've been sitting with how do I present myself in the world, how do I want to put out in the world, the whole course is going to help you go through that. But I cannot cover that in an hour, so there is a wait list if you want to get it for later. All right, let's get into light and color. I saw that one of the questions on here was, when taking photos, what's your trick to getting the best possible color match to the real deal? The answer to everything is lighting. Light affects color more than I think people realize. As a person of color, growing up, I've had a very hard time. Granted, cameras have gotten better, but I had a very hard time photographing me and my friends. I grew up in a very white Christian school, so it's just me and people who are about 15 shades lighter than me. So the photos are either they're all blown out or I am completely dark. So I had to learn and master how to create the scenes where we're both in the picture so everyone can see us. It's all about lighting. All about lighting. So just a few examples. I took these, this looks crazy on here. That's fine. But I took these photos that were out in the garden yesterday. This is just natural light. As you can see, I wish that was a little bit better. Screens are kind of garbage. I wish you could see a little bit, but this is natural light. It's a little bit muted on my screen. You can see the details, but you can't see a lot of the color. This is artificial light, just direct harsh flash. You can see a lot of the color, but then you get these dark, deep shadows. And then I think this is where you should all sit as florists, is diffused light, is an artificial light with natural light diffused, because this is gonna create the best version of a soft light, but giving you enough light to gain all of the detail and color of your flowers. This is, I think, your happy place. If you're feeling more editorial, if your brand is more editorial, artificial light, and if you're just natural light. However, I will say, if you're going for color, if you're going for details, natural light is not the most reliable. So if you want to create a consistent brand visuals, stick with one lighting technique and just go crazy with it. So let's actually do a demonstration. Let me get my setup real quick. Which one do first? Actually, we'll start there. We'll start with natural lighting. Whoop. Get out of here real quick. Live. All right, there you all are. I'm gonna adjust this back to normal settings to auto. You do not need a professional camera. I repeat, you do not need a professional camera to do anything photography-wise, but I'm gonna show you how to do it anyway. So, natural lighting, we can see, there you go. We can see our flowers here, right? Pretty dark, pretty dull, pretty dim. I will adjust some settings just to make it a little bit better. Let's see. Is that going? No, you need it this way. All right. Dark, useless. We don't like this. But for all extensive purposes, sometimes you're going to be inside. Sometimes your lighting is not going to be great, which is why I always encourage you to add a light. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. There are little square cubes you can get on Amazon for $20. You just want to fill the space. So I've got one that's a little bit bigger. Not this one. This one's probably like $100. But I've got this little light, so we're just going to add, it's a little aggressive, a little baby light. Turn down. Take your volume down. All right, little baby light. Obviously, adds a bit more detail, but now we've got a lot of harsh shadows. And granted, this is not where I would position the light. If you are going to focus solely on a piece, a bouquet, a centerpiece, I encourage you always to have your light directly behind you, overhead. That way you can get the best possible shot. So this is a terrible example of where your lighting should be. Let me grab this. Come on. There we go. Boop, boop. So lighting up and angle down. So now, there. So now something a little cleaner, a little more focused. Still very shadowy, so we want to add a little bit more. This is a diffuser. It's literally just a piece of paper. White backdrops are going to be your best friend for any type of photos if you want just a stagnant centerpiece shot. See, this is textured and it's gray, so it's going to be a little bit different, but white backdrops are going to be your best friend. If you can add a white backdrop behind your piece, and if you can also have maybe a wall behind you, angle the lighting at the wall behind you. Put it on full blast so that full wall is now going to become a new light source space for your centerpiece. It feels backwards, but trust me, it works. Now that we're here, a little better. Looks a lot nicer. The shadows are not as harsh anymore. Oop, you can see what's going on in the detail of these flowers. And granted, I can bring this light down a little bit more to fill the bottom, or you can grab a white piece of paper, a white tablecloth, and put it underneath your piece so it bounces the light underneath. So you can get all of the shadows from on the bottom of this piece also illuminated.
Very cool.
Whoop. This is what we call just a monolight. It stands by itself. You don't have to do a whole lot. I recommend this for you guys because it's going to be the easiest. But if you wanted to get crazy and fancy and get into strobes, you can do that. And strobes are essentially an off-camera flash. Most of you have on-camera flash on your camera, but you can also have an off-camera flash to essentially illuminate more pieces than just having it on your camera. You can adjust where the lighting goes, which I like that flexibility as a photographer, but this is like advanced level photography. So, to show you, I'm gonna turn this one off, drop you down. This may not be bright. Didn't show up. Go back on. Hello. The thing about off-camera flash is there's a lot of buttons involved and triggers and receivers, so connectivity can be frustrating, which is why I recommend just doing a mono light. Better. Let's not go live. See, blow it out. So this is when you're gonna get really funky, where you gotta understand light, and I do not recommend this if you're not trying to get into photography. However, if you are, a strobe could create something magically beautiful if we can get our lighting right. So, let's take this down. Also, we talk about diffusers because this feels very harsh to me, so you see how it's blowing everything out? When you add something soft in front of the light, you can control how much light is actually coming in versus just blasting it out and creating horrible highlights and losing our detail, because there is a balance between light and color. Enough light gives you all of the details. Too much light, you're gonna blow it all out. Better. Diffuser. So now you can see the harsh versus blasting out and the diffuse versus soft, gentle details. Any questions so far? No? Okay. Someone also asked, do you need a regular or professional camera to take great photos? I'm going to say no. This is jumping a little bit ahead for equipment recommendations. Your phone is perfect. I'm telling you now. Your phone is perfect. So if everyone opens their phone now, I will tell you exactly how to change your settings. In your camera. Oop, let me get this. You should always be shooting 16:9 because you want to get the whole scene. You can crop later if you need help. I will.
You need to tell us where. Always 16:9?
Always 16:9.
If you're shooting for Instagram? I don't know.
Especially if you're shooting for Instagram, because it's going to crop it into a 4:5 anyway. So you'd rather just shoot it to get it all, and then it's going to crop in. I'm a person who believes if you get a whole scene, crop it in, versus not having enough, and then you're just like, well, here we are.
I went with Verizon and I thought I knew all of that, and yeah.
I wish I can plug this in. Hold on.
Now we know.
Did everyone find their 16:9? Good? Okay. Let me adjust. See, we're helping already. 16:9, get the whole scene.
So much potential in this room.
Do you do anything with the contrast?
I do not do anything with a contrast at all. Leave your flash off. Live mode on if you can, because you're gonna get double the content if you do live mode. You get a couple photos and a little video clip, so now you can double up on what you're creating.
Question.
Yes.
Use live photo?
Use live photo. I say you should, just so you can double on content.
I got busted on live photos. Same.
It's just, I mean,
What I said was, she never drank the shoe, or something like that.
you don't need to use it, but you have flexibility in using live photo because it gives you both photo and video. So if you wanted to make a reel later of just this little clip scene, that's perfect too, versus, creating 15 photos and then, oh shoot, I need video, take another video. So live photo just gives you flexibility of both.
Okay, that's cool, but do you know, is there a way to permanently turn off live?
Yes, there is. I'll come over. There should be a little circle thing that you can turn off.
I know, I've done that, but it comes back on again. Like when I do that,
I think you gotta do
Live
it
up.
when you're
No.
setting the live.
Go back. I was like,
Ignore.
go away. We're not
Ignore.
talking to you.
Okay, so now it's gonna do it.
Now
'cause
you're good.
staying
I know.
here.
But keep live photo on for safety and security.
Do you touch your exposure at all?
I don't touch my actually, that's a lie. So when you have your iPhone and it comes up with that little square that has a light on it. Oh, okay. Let me help you. All right. When you're on your camera, if you touch the screen, do you see a yellow square? Yes.
That's
The exposure. I only say touch that if everything's looking funky, but honestly, I would just use that to touch your subject. So whatever your subject is, if it's your flowers, it's if you touch that and it'll automatically adjust for you.
I only touch it like when I'm taking sunsets.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. But, so if you're going to touch me. Yeah. Because obviously, I'm a perfect example. Everyone, use your phone, point at me. So you see me now, you see the screen, so it's probably going to adjust. I might look a little dark.
You're changing
I love it. But now I'm going to move right in front of this light. It might get different. So touch me again, it's going to adjust.
Your own visual aid. Beautiful. Amazing.
Everyone up to speed? I try. Let me see, what else do I need to change for you guys? I think that one's...
Next session is iPhone photography.
I would use 16.9 because the most frustrating thing you're going to run into, especially when doing content, is you're going to realize that you need both posts and reels and feed. And that 16:9 is going to give you at least the flexibility to do all three without worrying about, oh no, now I got to shoot this all over again. Oh no, I got to go back. Because I hate reshooting things. It just doesn't fit, and it's the most infuriating thing as an artist. And you have to do it. I'm like, that's not where I wanted it. So 16:9, just make your life easier. I promise. But let me get into the next one. Boop, boop.
Can I ask a question just so I'll do this?
Yes, please do.
Again, what we just did with this little square, what is the purpose of that? To change
To adjust the lighting of the subject. And so this actually brings up a really good point. Like I said, if you wanted to just focus on the centerpiece, the bouquet, that's fine. But it changes when you get into the scene. And I'm going to tell you all now, you're going to hate me, you need to get into your own content. You need to also be seen within your content, which is why I recommend bringing in a secondary light, because this is when things get funky. If your camera is going to focus on you or the subject, one of you is going to be missing out. So we need to add in an additional light to fill the space of where your camera is going to miss out. Singular light, it's not a lot. Like I said, $20 little square lights on Amazon, and put it on a tripod, call it a day.
So I have a question. If we're shooting our own content on our phone, do you recommend this camera or this one?
Always back camera. Do not use the front camera. The front camera literally has less quality than the back camera. And if you're going for quality, go for quality.
Okay.
So always use the back camera. Let me go back to settings. Camera. Okay, and everyone go into your settings.
Like phone settings?
Phone settings. Search for camera. Everybody there? Everyone, first order should be record video. Switch that to 4K and 60 frames per second. 60 frames per second, that's where you need to be. If you want to do slow-mo and get real artsy, it's the next one, 1080. Oh, sorry.
We're going to where? You want to record video at what?
4K, 60 frames per second.
Got that.
Okay.
The next one underneath should be slow-mo, and that's 1080 at 240 frames per second. 240. Just makes it easier for your editing later.
Is it 240?
240. Do you not have 240? If you don't have 240, that's okay.
1080, 60, and 30.
Go for 60 then.
Wait, record slow-mo is 1080 at 240?
Yes.
And cinematic?
Yes.
Which one do you want?
Well, okay. Cinematic's up to you. You can change that when you're actually in your camera. You don't need to make that your setting right now. Next one should be formats, and you should have high efficiency on. And go back, making sure I have all these things for you. Scroll down, especially if you're gonna do a lot of detail, make sure your lens correction and macro control are on. Just scrolling down on the same settings tab. Macro control. Turn those on. You don't? That's okay.
We don't have.
All right, that's fine. You don't need.
I have lens correction.
Lens correction's on. Okay, now I want you to open your cameras again. Take a photo again. See if you notice a difference. I will stand in front of this horrible light. And actually, let me do this. And when we talk lighting, this is what I want you to see. So, take a photo of me here. Try to get out of this light. Good, good. Could be better, possibly. Where's the button? Where'd you go? I am backwards. Cannot do things backwards. There.
Don't zoom or anything?
You can zoom. It's fine. Me now. Do I feel blue? Do I feel warm? Does it feel too bright? I feel bright. Okay. Diffuse.
Now we're doing another one?
Yeah. Just so you can see the difference between a natural, a very harsh light, and a diffused light.
Well, you're getting the light
I
from
mean,
the
this. Sorry, my bad.
You're dark on that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go away. Touch my face again. You should touch my face on every one so that it adjusts. No, that's fine. This is why we're learning. Touch my face.
That face touching made a huge difference,
Face touching me, so that way,
especially because it was alive.
especially because it's live.
Yeah.
This is why I'm telling you to keep it there.
Look at
So
that.
this way you don't have to do any of that work. Your camera is going to do a lot of the work for you. We just had to adjust a few settings and make sure that you add a little additional light. Thank you. Send them to me, are they good? So that means we're going to get into our next thing, which is content marketing. Let me turn this off so I'm not blind. Ugh.
I feel live, I missed the moment.
You missed the moment? What do you mean?
Well, so I took your picture and you were smiling, but then,
Okay, hold down on the image. It should move now, yes?
so then just pick the one.
Just pick the one you wanted that, yeah.
Yeah.
Diversity in live.
It makes it more authentic too.
It does, because as someone who takes photos of other people for a living, the photos that they think that they want are not the ones that they actually end up wanting, because they have this idea in their head of like, it's gotta look like this. But really in the moment, I am rapid firing, assassinating for photos, and it's like, it's the movement in it, it's the diversity in it, and that's what you wanna create. But you guys are taking mostly photos of flowers and yourselves. Yeah, so that's why I'm just like, keep it on live or keep it on video so you can just screen capture what feels right to you.
So that's my next question. If you're on video, you have a little button.
Yeah.
Is that,
You can literally roll the video, pause it, screenshot it. That is now a good photo. And phone quality, clean your lenses. So, I like my hair, oil, greasy, all the things. Clean your lenses every time you try it, because there's nothing more frustrating. You realize you got a good photo and you're like, it's smudged. It's smudged. I don't need to look greasy on screen. So clean your lenses before you start anything. But you can definitely just screenshot from the videos and it'd be perfectly useful. So getting into content marketing. These are basically the summary of what I think content marketing should be. And these have been successful for the brands that I have launched, that I have produced, and that I have kept basically alive today. I used to work for Pinterest. That was like one of my first jobs. And to this day, these are the categories that have been successful in keeping a good social media brand alive for every kind of business. You need to be personal. And we talked about education earlier. People don't want to be educated, but they want to be educated. And it doesn't have to sound like education. It doesn't have to be a how-to every time. People want to be educated on your personal life. How did you get started in this? What is the reason you're doing this in the first place? How did we get here? Why are you doing this now? Why are you passionate about this? People want to know the person behind a brand because everybody's selling something, but it's like, I want to know who I'm supporting more than just what they're selling. Behind the scenes, whatever projects you're working on, set up that video. Just do the process. Just let them see it. People are nosy, weirdly nosy. I don't know if you've watched any of the videos. There's a million videos of people just eating. Eating. And yet, it's a thing. People just enjoy, yeah, people enjoy watching you do mundane things. Record it, use it. It's helpful for people too, to see the process and to see your inner workings of how you're putting something together. Your recent work, I emphasize on this because I am bad about this personally. I shoot something and I forget, and I'm on to the next. Show your recent work. Show the work that you're proud of too, especially if it's something that you want more of. Don't forget to put that out there. I know we can get caught up in a lot of the business side of it and forget the why, which is why I tell you in the beginning, remember your reasons why you're doing this. Put the deep work in of why this is important to you. Otherwise, it's going to get lost in, oh no, I didn't post today. Oh no, I don't have content today. Oh no, we're not getting things done today. And content is not always about engagement, because I have a lot of posts that did not engage well, but they made me money. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's totally fine. So please do not get wrapped up in, oh, this didn't perform, I'll take it down. Don't get discouraged by likes or engagement. People are just nosy and lazy. Education. This is where I say how-tos. How to, I don't know, build a bouquet, how to build a centerpiece. We're entering fall season. This is your time to shine. Let the people know, like, this is how I would, decorate my mantle. This is how I would build a fall tablescape. This is how I would, whatever. Insert inspiration here. People also want to be inspired because as a creative, I have learned that a lot of people are not creative, and they're really looking for someone to tell them on how to create something, especially if they're in a realm where they can't actually, buy it on their own, but they can make it on their own. Because your girl's expensive. I don't know about y'all, but I'm expensive, so not everyone can afford me. So I will teach you how to do these things if you cannot afford to do them. This is huge because it also gauges a sense of security, but also just sense of professionality within you too. Like, this is a professional who knows what they're doing. So yeah, I'm gonna trust them, I'm gonna gain inspiration from them, and it's gonna continue to keep going.
So my question on that, something I deal with, where's the balance of not showing too much that they can go do it themselves, or engaging them that they're like, oh, I like what you do, I wanna hire you?
There is a balance, and I'm gonna tell you this, no one can do exactly what you do. And so, granted, everyone in here is in some type of floral, you know what I mean? So it's like everyone's a florist, but no one's a florist like you. No one's a florist with your experience, with your background, with knowing what you know, with your personal vibe. So it's like, it's okay if you can literally give them the whole recipe. Some people just can't bake. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So it keeps them coming back for more. So either way, I'm like, the engagement, the views on it, you still get credit for it. You still get paid for it. And I would encourage you, if you want to create longer sessions, create YouTube channel for it so that you have a long form session that you will get paid off of. And then the short form sessions from that YouTube page you can use for your social media. It's for Instagram, TikTok, whatever. So that way it's like, if you just want to snip it, like a little taste, and they're like, ooh, I want more, you may not have to pay for it, but you're going to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? YouTube, get on it. Community. This one's big because I feel like a lot of us get stuck in it's just me. And at the end of the day, it is just you running your business. But there is still community in it. I mentioned earlier inspiration. If you're a wholesaler, retailer, work with local florists. Be like, hey, these are the seasonal flowers. Can you create something to inspire, something for the everyday domestic, something for the businesses if they want to up their decor for the season, for hotels even. This is where you really want to build that sense of flower community, just so you can have something to bounce off of, but also just inspire more than what's in your brain. And tips and tricks. Like I said, I've taught, at this point, like 500 people how to hold their bouquet. Teach them. I'm not a florist, but you know what I mean? Teach them. The little things that infuriate you, especially in photos, actually, that's gonna be a new trick. If it infuriates you, teach people about it. Teach them the right way to do it. It's gonna be very helpful for you. Yeah, learn the lessons. It makes it easier for you and more educational for them. And like I said, everyone's gonna save this information regardless or share it. So this is gonna turn into, okay, I'm either I realize I can't do this is too much, so I'm just gonna hire you. Or, okay, I'm gonna stay inspired and maybe I'll like learn to educate for you or refer you to somebody else.
They'll tell others. I mean, they might move on, but then they'll bring
They'll always bring other people. I haven't done my own marketing in, I'm gonna say at least 8 years. I've been on referral for a long time. So keep all of this going. And I built you a little 30 days of content marketing. So if you scan this, there's literally 30 ideas for you to have for the next month of posting content, whatever. I can. I can. I also work as a consultant, so literally, call me. Everyone got this scanning? Okay. So lastly, equipment recommendations. Like I said, your phone is perfectly great. You do not need to buy a professional camera. However, and comma, this is my favorite tiny thing on the planet. Like, it's really this big. It's so cute. Like, it's adorable. It is a photo and video camera, and it is fantastic quality for something so small as a professional. 4K video, and it's really nice because it's got a tiny little screen on it, but it does landscape and portrait mode. But the really cool thing about this is, David, can you actually help me?
Which one is it? You have a bunch on here.
It's the Osmo Pocket 3.
Pocket 3? The creator combo.
Actually, no, sorry, go back. Good. Yeah, good. I'm gonna have you guys test this. What's nice about this, especially, you can double click it and it becomes a whole selfie mode. Yes, but if you also double tap your face, because we're about tapping our faces, it will actively track you as you're doing anything. You don't need a gimbal, you don't need a second person. If you really just need some content to create, this is the one. So I will pass this around, you can touch it, you can play with it, whatever. It is my favorite thing. I think it was like $300 at one point, it got popular. Now I think it's like $600 at this point.
Oh,
Yeah.
so sharp.
It's so tiny, yeah.
Dang it. I thought it was 66. I was like,
No, I know, I wish it was cheaper. It got very popular and then, supply and demand. But it is one of my favorite tools.
so you can create your YouTube videos.
Yeah.
You can
You can YouTube, live stream, content.
is everything in horizontal.
No, it also changes to portrait mode. So you can do everything in portrait or horizontal, which is great. Actually, do I have this?
And what's it actually called?
It's an DJI Osmo Pocket 3.
It's cheaper than hiring a videographer.
It's cheaper than hiring a videographer. This was footage of us biking the bridge. Granted, I'm literally going like this on a bike, but this is the type of quality that you can get on just a tiny little camera. I put it on my helmet. That's why I'm like, I'm going like this. So this is not showing its stabilization the best way it should, but this is great. It has literally a few little adapters for your helmet things. I'm just bebopping around. Really easy to use. And I'm a person, I don't know if you're anything like me, but I absolutely hate looking for something on my phone that is not related to anything work-related. When you have a million photos and videos of, this, but I'm looking for, the recipe from whatever cookbook. And I'm like, I hate using that much storage on my phone, and I hate paying for extra storage on my phone. So if you don't like that, just get a little Osmo.
How do you get the files?
Yeah, how do you get
Oh, sorry. There is a micro SD card that's in there, but also there is an app. So you can literally use your phone. You can also use your phone as a remote for the control. So it's so easy. So you can download it directly from the app to your phone. I was like, if you, yeah, something like that. And if you are trying to get into, vlogger, creator content, there's a creator combo, which comes, the little tiny mics as well, which are really good quality, which we're recording on these now. You'll see the video for this later. They're perfect because everything literally fits in your pocket or purse, whatever. All right, questions, comments, concerns, feedback? I want to know.
Do you give me a little mic on the Amazon?
It should be under the creator combo. I can add it in right now.
Oh, so do you need a separate microphone for this?
It has built-in audio, but if you want that crisp, clear, like vlogger status audio, I'll add the mic in right now.
What are your suggestions, like if you're outside and there's a lot of wind?
The little fuzzy, this little fuzzy basically cancels out everybody else and it's only listening to you.
We do that on our cooler too.
Let me see. Where am I going? Thank you, babe.
Aside from setting yourself up with success from a lighting perspective from jump, let's say, you take all of your content.
Yeah.
What are you using? Like I saw Lightroom. Obviously your phone has a bunch of different editing.
You want to actually edit your photos?
When you're editing, like say on the slide.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be,
I'm
that person. I'm not gonna be you.
I'm gonna say avoid Lightroom altogether. I think,
Okay.
to be honest, once you add lighting in, it's perfect. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to do a lot because a lot of Lightroom, it's called Lightroom, is adjusting the lighting, adjusting where camera was lacking, adjusting where experience was lacking. So once you add lighting in, it's honestly going to take care of a lot of it. And I will reiterate for this little pocket camera, it's got a beauty filter on it that like clears your skin and gives you a little neck snatch if you need it. You can turn it off, but it has a built-in filter to it that's going to give you the richest colors that you can. You can totally play with it. I please encourage you to use it. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite things. I've been creating a lot with it, so please use. Oh, I'm adding the mic in. Sorry, distracted. DJI mics. Wireless. Wireless mic. Me too.
Is it in your creator shop?
It's part of one of the packages, but I'm just gonna add it in right now. Wait, go back. Let's go to edit. And products. Then. This one is I'm adding a 2 mic combo in here. You may just need the one. There's just a different version on here. You can just get the 1 mic, but I'm just adding that in the scan, so now you have it. So that should be in the list now. Okay. Where'd you go? Boom. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, feedback? Thank you. You are ready to go create, make things. Thank you.